This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Nicole Galloway-Warland, the CEO of Thor Mining, following news today on a farm-in funding agreement for the Molyhil project. So it's been a little while since we've spoken. Nicole, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you, Mark.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today. I understand you are in London, going to be doing some various jobs while you're there and making a presentation as well. So that sounds good. So let's just look at today's news. From past interviews with Thor, it was understood that Molyhil was Thor's flagship project. And a lot of shareholders had a lot of good interest in that project historically. So could you just explain perhaps why you pursued a joint venture here rather than continue with the project as a sole operator?
Oh, yeah, happy to. Look, when I came on as managing director probably 12 months ago, I came on with a skill set background in geology. So I assessed the projects and really looked at where I could add value to the projects and also the new board members, where our strengths were. And we felt we had a very diverse portfolio and really needed to focus in. All three directors, we all have a background in uranium. So the uranium project for us was a near-term US focus on uranium was a bit of a no-brainer for us. And so that's really our core focus moving forward. And also the Pilbara project. Now, we like the Molyhil project, but for us, this deal that's just been released this morning, so Investigator have come in to earn in, or their subsidiary company, Fram, are going to earn in over 3 stages, up to 80%. And that essentially allows us to maintain an equity interest in the project while less of an operational risk and move that project forward, but allowing us to focus in on our uranium projects.
Okay, so could you just explain a little bit more about the terms of the JV there? It is in 3 stages, isn't it? And does it mean that, providing it all goes through, because I guess it's not quite fully finalised yet, does that mean Thor will just not have much involvement at all with it going forward and just hopefully reap any benefits that come?
Yeah, so it's a 3-stage earning. By spending up to 8 million. So stage 1 is 1 million over 18 months. Stage 2 is a further 2 million. And then stage 3 is 5 million to earn up to 80% equity. And then from there, it will be whether we come back in or we dilute out.
Okay.
So for us, it allows that project to really move forward. And as I mentioned earlier, to retain an equity interest in the project without, distracting us from an operational perspective.
Okay. Well, that is some significant cash that's going to be put then at this project going forward. And clearly the joint venture partner sees what potentially Thor did see, but you've just decided to shift focus onto uranium with it being your background. Could you just perhaps very briefly remind us of the prospectivity of Molyhil and maybe echo what the joint venture partner are seeing there that gives them confidence to pursue this deal?
Yeah, so look, quite a lot of work has been done on the Molyhil project. There is a JORC measured resource. And so the project has done some feasibility study work back in 2018. So for the new joint venture partners, they'll be looking at doing a revised resource based on our more recent 3D modelling, identifying areas for potential increase in resource, also looking at some geotechnical aspects from a mining perspective. So it's a great project. Tungsten and molybdenum are critical minerals. It has a major project status in the Northern Territory. So I wish Investigator all the best on the project.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's now get a bit of an update then across the rest of the company and the 2 main areas of focus. Of course, you mentioned there the uranium in the USA, and there is, of course, the multi-commodity Ragged Range project. So let's start with the uranium project then. Tell us a bit about what Thor are going to pursue in the uranium side of things.
Yeah, so we have 3 100% owned projects in the Uravan mineral belt in the US. So this is in Utah and Colorado. The fundamentals are very favorable for uranium at the moment, and obviously with the geopolitical as well as clean energy, we're seeing nuclear energy, shifting and certain demand in that space. So these projects are high-grade, shallow targets, up to grades of 1.25% uranium, 3.4% vanadium. So we've just completed our first drilling program over there on our Colorado Wedding Belt and Radium Mountain project, and we'll be doing some downhole geophysics and hope to have some news flow out to the market early December with those results.
Okay.
Moving further on next year, we'll be going back onto the ground and doing some more extensive drilling to build JORC-compliant resources around some of the historic workings, as well as some of the new areas and following on from our current drilling program. So quite a lot of work over there, and we'll be also getting on the ground at our Utah project as well and doing something in that area as well.
Well, you're certainly right about the climate for uranium, of course, what is going on in the macro environment, in the economy. What's the main objective with your uranium projects? One of them there, you said to get a JORC resource. Is that really the idea for them all, really, to establish a resource and then see where that takes you?
Definitely. So the infrastructure in the area is very favourable. We have Energy Fuels White Mesa processing facility in close proximity. So our objective is to move the project towards JORC resources and onto a scoping study. We're fortunate with that toll treating facility that we would be looking at mining and then toll treating any material that would be produced.
Okay. And in terms of activities, you mentioned there's some results due sort of December time and then back on the ground drilling in the sort of Q2, was it, next year?
Yeah, Q2. So, yes, April.
Okay. And just in terms of funding, is all the activities funded for this exploration?
Yeah, so everything's being funded, and we're sort of, obviously divesting projects also brings in some capital to the company as well to move forward. Okay. Well, I look forward to following the uranium developments there, because that is a new arm to Thor's business, and we're seeing a little bit more uranium opportunities coming to the markets now, which is good. So let's just finish off talking about Ragged Range and the multi-commodity project. Just bring us up to speed on where this is, and again, what Thor's intentions are for this project. So we've just completed drilling at the Kelly's prospect in the northeastern area of the Ragged Range project in the Pilbara, WA. Our initial results, which were released to the market about a week ago, we were identified up to 4 metres at 12.2 grams per tonne gold. We hope to have the rest of those assays out to the market early December, and hopefully they will be continuing in that sort of very high grade calibre. From there, next year we'll be getting back on the ground at our nickel project or prospect, Corona prospect, and doing some drill holes into the EM conductor, as well as following up on the lithium prospectivity in the area. So doing some reconnaissance work in the north around the Split Rock Super Suite. So quite a lot of news flow coming up with the drilling results and also our activities for next year.
Indeed. Okay, well, that's good to hear. Now, just remind me, you said you'd been the CEO of the company, was it 12 months or a little over 12 months?
Just over 12 months, yeah.
Right, just over 12 months. Okay, well, maybe just considering where we are now, it's nearly December, we're nearly at the end of the year, of course, Christmas time, and then going into 2023. Can you perhaps sum up your year then as CEO? Because a lot of things have changed with the company. There's been a shift of focus. And then really what you would like to see the company be achieving, let's say looking into next year.
So my objective was to really look at the projects and look at near-term value that I can add to those projects, whether that's through discovery or whether that's through development or, in some cases, divestment of the projects. So look, these things take time, and I feel this year, we've built that. We've divested 2 of our projects, Pilot Mountain and now Molyhil, and that's allowing us to really focus in on the uranium project as well as the Pilbara, where our core strengths are. So yes, I've come on with that technical background, and that's where I feel we can add value to the project. Busy year on the ground, and again, I feel that's where you find your discoveries, not sitting at a desk. You need to be on the ground drilling holes. Okay,
so that would be the goal for 2023, not sitting behind the desk, but on site, drilling holes, finding resources, and updating the market, presumably.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Nicole Galloway-Walland, the CEO there of Thor Mining, for your time today.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Okay.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.